Being labeled the next Cristiano Ronaldo isn't praise, it's a curse. Especially when you're born in the same country, raised in the same poverty, trained in the same academy, guided by the same coaches, breaking the same records, walking the same path, and even sharing the same house. Because from that moment on, you're never judged for who you are, only for who you fail to be compared to the giant beside you. And that impossible burden followed Nani from the very beginning. Long before Old Trafford, long before trophies, back when survival mattered more than football. When Luis Carlos Almeida da Cunha was growing up packed into a single room with his mother and 8 siblings. Rats crawling through the walls, geckos on the ceiling, hunger gnawing at his stomach so constantly that food became a memory rather than a certainty. A neighborhood so dangerous that the sound of an ambulance meant danger rather than help. Where curiosity could cost you your life, and where his father vanished to Cape Verde, leaving behind a broken family and forcing Nani's older brother to become both guardian and shield, trying desperately to keep him away from the street life that surrounded them, a task made almost impossible as temptation and chaos pressed in from every side. Bikes stolen, cars taken for joyrides, trouble always one step away until hunger itself changed everything, when his brother promised him free food on the other side of town, leading them to beg inside a Pizza Hut, only for a woman to come outside and hand them an entire pizza. A moment Nani says he can still taste decades later. Because true hunger leaves scars you never forget. And in that same moment, football quietly opened its first door when she heard they played and called a friend. Securing a trial that his brother never attended because survival came first. A sacrifice Nani only understood years later. His own chance came suddenly, invited by a friend to trials he nearly missed because he had no proper clothes. Forcing him to wear jeans over shorts and leather shoes meant for weddings, sprinting miles through the rain because he couldn't afford a train ticket, arriving soaked and mocked only for the laughter to stop the moment the ball touched his feet. Flair erupting naturally, street football pouring out uncontrollably, earning him a contract on the spot when the coach asked how he arrived, and Nani simply said, "I ran." 7 punishing years followed at Real Massima, his mother leaving for the Netherlands. Mornings spent sprinting on an empty stomach, afternoons playing in street tournaments where police raids happened mid-match, fear dissolving once the ball rolled, comebacks fueled by confidence, signatures scribbled on scraps of paper that were supposed to be worth millions one day, except he signed Luis instead of Nani. Delaying recognition, bouncing between Benfica and Sporting simultaneously, hiding it from everyone until fate tied him to a skinny older kid obsessed with winning. A boy who demanded backflips on team buses and protected him like family. Cristiano Ronaldo, who later erupted in fury when Sporting released Nani, forcing the club to reverse its decision. A moment that changed the trajectory of his life. When Ronaldo left for Manchester United, the void remained, and Nani was pushed into it, signing his first professional contract, tracking down his lost father in Cape Verde, and discovering not abandonment but immigration traps. Returning stronger, growing physically once nutrition arrived, lifting Sporting to league finishes better than the Ronaldo Quaresma era. Winning the Portuguese Cup, attracting Jorge Mendes, and suddenly Europe called Chelsea, Bayern, Juventus, Real Madrid, but Manchester United felt inevitable. £25.5 million paid, more than Ronaldo himself just 2 years earlier, moving straight into Cristiano's house, scoring thunderbolts, flipping through the air, adored instantly, yet always compared, sharing minutes with legends, producing magic whenever needed. Goals against Liverpool, chaos against Arsenal, assists in Rome. Then the Champions League final arrived. Ronaldo missed his penalty. The weight of history landed on a 21-year-old Nani, who stepped forward calmly and scored, keeping United alive and lifting the trophy. But instead of celebration came comparison, rivalry narratives, and when Ronaldo left for Madrid, expectation turned suffocating. Despite flashes of brilliance, Bayern heroics, and one of the greatest Premier League seasons ever in 2010-11 with 30 goal contributions, assist numbers rivaling Messi, records matching Henry, De Bruyne, and Fabregas. Recognition lagged behind performance, nominations passed him by, injuries disrupted rhythm. Sir Alex grew harsher, shouting, nitpicking, demanding Ronaldo-level dominance. Minutes vanished. Champions League finals came and went with Nani watching from the bench. Frustration turned physical. Hamstrings snapped, confidence fractured, exits blocked. Juventus moves cancelled at the last minute. Promises broken under Moyes, marginalization under Van Gaal, until United quietly let go of their most efficient creator ever, a statistical truth history nearly buried. Nani returned to Sporting, lifted another cup, moved through Fenerbahce, chased one final international destiny, and at Euro 2016, as Portugal stumbled through draws and pressure, he delivered again and again, scoring, assisting, leading. Until fate delivered its cruel poetry in the final when Ronaldo collapsed injured and handed the captain's armband to the man who had spent his life being told he wasn't him. Nani led, endured, and won. Portugal champions of Europe. The silver boot placed in his hands by Cristiano himself, a circle closed at last. Afterward came Valencia, Lazio, then chaos at Sporting again as fans attacked players and stars fled, and once more Nani returned, rejecting fortunes elsewhere to stabilize the club, lifting yet another Portuguese cup before drifting into football's twilight in Orlando, Venice, and finally Australia, far from Old Trafford's roar, but complete at last because Nani was never meant to be Ronaldo. He was meant to survive, to create, to endure. And in that truth lies both the tragedy and the greatness of his story. If you enjoyed this story, drop a like, subscribe, and comment who you think football history misunderstood the most, because some careers deserve a second look. With Ronaldo gone and the spotlight burning hotter than ever, Nani found himself standing at the edge of something dangerous, because replacing a legend isn't about talent. It's about surviving the expectations that come with it. And for the first time in his career, he wasn't chasing a dream anymore. He was being chased by comparisons, numbers, headlines, and impatience. Every touch judged through the lens of what Ronaldo would have done. Every missed chance magnified. Every quiet game weaponized. And yet beneath that pressure, Nani was still producing moments of brilliance that few in Europe could match. Gliding past defenders, bending games with his left foot, deciding matches without ever needing applause. But consistency, the word that would haunt him forever, became the weapon used against him. Because while others were forgiven for off days, Nani's mistakes were treated as proof. Proof that he wasn't that guy. Proof that Manchester United had lost something irreplaceable. Even when the numbers quietly told another story. A story of chance creation, of assists stacking up, of decisive contributions hidden beneath narrative bias. The infamous offside controversy became a turning point not because of what actually happened, but because of how it was framed. Nani accused of stealing one of Ronaldo's greatest goals when in reality the referee was wrong, yet the damage was done, because perception in football is often louder than truth. And from that moment on, patience with Nani grew thinner, even as his football grew sharper, culminating in a 2010-11 season so productive it should have rewritten his reputation entirely. A season where he didn't just replace Ronaldo statistically, he surpassed him at the same age, driving United forward through injuries, through rotation, through tactical shifts, delivering game after game, assist after assist, goal after goal, becoming the league's most creative force behind only Messi in all of Europe. Yet still standing outside the inner circle of praise, still overlooked when awards were handed out, still questioned when lineups were announced, and that disconnect between output and appreciation began to eat away at him. Because footballers feel injustice more deeply than criticism. And Nani felt it constantly. Felt it when he was benched for finals. Felt it when his confidence was mistaken for arrogance. Felt it when discipline was enforced on him more harshly than others. Until the joy that once fueled his game began to fade, replaced by hesitation. By the fear of making mistakes rather than the hunger to create magic. And when injuries arrived, they didn't just attack his body, they attacked his momentum, his rhythm, his standing within the squad, turning a once irreplaceable winger into a rotation option, then into a question mark, and eventually into a problem to be solved rather than a weapon to be unleashed.